It sure was nice to have a shorter classic Doctor Who review last week, wasn't it? Let's see, what's the runtime of this video like? Oh, man. Well, I obviously have a lot to say about this one because it runs the gamut of my initial reactions, ranging from what the heck is going on here to what the crap is going on here? What on earth is going on here? What are you even talking about? And of course... Alright, the image of Fendahl. Fendahl? Fendahl. It sounds like one of those weird words that David Tennant's doctor would enjoy saying. Fendahl. A 4-part serial from 1977. What a serial. Where do I even start? Well, there's a spoopy skull. It glows. Leela's new costume is, whoa! I thought this was supposed to be rated PG. Okay, but for real, let's start with the story. So, K9 is immediately benched after literally only just being introduced. Boo. No doubt being a byproduct of the fact that he wasn't actually initially intended to be a TARDIS companion, until they probably thought to themselves, why did we go through all this effort in making a really cool, fully operational robot dog to only use them for the invisible enemy, and that's it. The Doctor and Leela are thrown into distress when the TARDIS is pulled to Earth by the vacuum of a time fissure. Oh my goodness, the TARDIS is stuck. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it. The TARDIS hasn't actually died for a while. Good job, Tom, keep it up. So, they're on Earth, and there's these researchers, and a cult, and this old lady and her grandson, and one of the researchers are part of the cult, and so is this other guy. And the researchers scanning the skull makes it influence the mind of some other woman, and okay, there's clearly way too much going on here to possibly understand. It's so convoluted, even for classic Doctor Who standards. Even with the aid of the plot synopsis on Wikipedia, I was still finding myself rewinding scenes to try and catch explanations of what was going on. For instance, there's a pentagram that's not a pentagram, that's part of the skull, which is also a neural circuit that can release energy as a beacon to signal that there is intelligent life on Earth, as a means to summon Fendahl, I think? Who's an alien, I think? I had to rewatch this one scene 4 times to gather just that much explanation for it. It felt like I was being bombarded with so much information that it was difficult to determine what was actually important for the story and what was just fluff that won't help you understand anything. It's one of those things where the basic outline is so simple, and yet the path to get to the ultimate end goal is so unnecessarily complicated. From little things like a character named Fendelman. Fendelman? Fendahl? Am I crazy for thinking that there's supposed to be a connection there? Similar to like how I thought that Mr. Cheng and Wen Chiang were supposed to be the same, but weren't? Well, no, because in this case, at the very end, the connection is, in fact, relevant. Fendelman meaning man of the Fendahl. Really? Not necessarily hard to believe, but just... what? That was my reaction through most of this. What? Actual confusion as to whether I was supposed to be taking this seriously or not. And judging by 2 of the dumbest cliffhangers I've seen in a while, the answer was no. But by the time the final episode rolled around, I was just laughing at how ridiculously silly it was. That's where the clip from the start of the video came from, and where this one came from. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, though nothing had me laughing as much as what Leela says here.
I'm sure the doctor can help you. He has great knowledge and gentleness.
Oh, the Doctor's gentle, is he? Yeah, no. I can't say it was particularly bad, but I personally didn't love it. I can't think of anything it did egregiously wrong. It could have certainly benefited from getting to the point quicker. If I didn't have Wikipedia open while watching it, I would have had no clue what the connection was between the skull and the research woman. Last week was weird, because, like, I enjoyed The Invisible Enemy while I was watching it, and ultimately thought it was just a fine time, and it hasn't really given me any reason to think about it since. But I feel like this one I'm going to completely forget almost immediately until I read a comment or rewatch this review later down the line and go, oh yeah, that was all very random and confusing, wasn't it? It wasn't offensively terrible like the DVD cover suggested it would be. Seriously, what is that about? But I can't imagine anybody thinking this is one of the greats. There's clearly more to get out of it than what I got, but just speaking from the heart, I can't imagine me revisiting this one ever outside of a purposeful 4th Doctor marathon. But, credit where it's due, there's enough classic Doctor Who staples and tropes featured to make it feel like an authentic time. Like incredibly dramatic acting, jelly babies, one-chop knockouts, and the Doctor who doesn't like guns blowing a Fendahl away with a double-barrel shotgun loaded with rock salt. You know, just the essentials. And if you think that's wild, the Doctor literally helps someone to, unalive themselves. Yeah. Think about that for a while, don't you? And there you have it, the Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull of classic Doctor Who. Well, not really, because I quite like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Anyway, tune in next week while we take a look at the most boring classic Doctor Who DVD cover, The Sunmakers. Puts me to sleep just looking at it. Oh, and before I go, much like that bizarre scene in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull with the weird sound effect and editing that makes you go, wait, what just happened? Was that sound effect and facial expression significant somehow? Well, what the heck was going on in this end scene?
You called him him. You called him him!
Skulls absorbing the energy released by the scanner beam damages the time fissure. Why didn't I think of that before?
What are you talking about? Oh, that was supposed to be the end screen. Bye?